Look at
Tommy, he's so stoned.
this is totally happening.
Look what's happened to him.
You know what I look like.
Such a mess. What a loser.
Yeah, this weed is definitely
Gross. Ever since he started smoking pot, he's gross.
like everyone's doing it.
And it's so uncool.
They're really into me. They think I'm so...
Out of it. He's really out of it.
You're watching Channel 5.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. We begin again tonight with the defining issue of this presidential campaign, the economy. President Bush acknowledged this morning that the country has been through economic hell, but despite the lousiness of our economy, his words, we are poised for a decent and strong recovery. Also the president's words, and open to challenge, as Governor Clinton has said every day. With Election Day less than 2 months away, can anyone say with precision when the economy will improve? The Chamber of Commerce has now surveyed a large number of businessmen and women, and their level of confidence is down. Here's ABC's John McKenzie.
The Chamber of Commerce Index reflects the attitudes of more than 5,000 businessmen and women across the country. They were asked to judge the country's economic outlook and their own business sales and hiring prospects for the next 6 months. Throughout the year, the survey indicated business owners had increasing confidence the economy was improving. Last month, their confidence dropped, the index down by more than 6%.
People's expectations of a strong recovery are not being realized.
The survey is meant to be a snapshot of Main Street America, owners of small retail stores and restaurants, owners close to their customers.
This summer we really felt that businesses dropped and the recession has not helped it. You know, things are really very, very bad.
It's going down, down, down. I don't know if I can pay my rent anymore.
Consumer confidence isn't faring much better. The latest ABC News Money Magazine poll shows that while consumers were slightly more optimistic last week, overall their confidence remains deeply depressed. 90% of Americans believe the economy is in bad shape. 72% say now is not the time to buy things.
On a personal level, no, I'm not buying anything right now. I really am afraid to buy anything because of the way it's been.
Reflecting consumer concern about the economy, many Americans who do have money to spend are using it to pay off their debts. And when they do buy, they're buying with cash. John McKenzie, ABC News, New York.
The world's largest industrial corporation has gone into a new line of business. General Motors is now in the credit card field. It's a crowded field. Every company, it seems, wants the benefits of issuing a card. Our economics editor Stephen Ogg tonight on what the attraction is.
In case you're wondering why General Motors is offering credit cards, their answer is simple.
GM is in the credit card business to sell more cars and trucks.
What they're doing is sending applications to 30 million people, many of them past GM customers. They'll be offered a MasterCard at no annual fee with an interest rate that's slightly below average. What makes the GM card different is that for every dollar consumers charge, 5 cents will be credited toward the purchase of almost any GM car or truck, Saturn's not included. For example, if you charge $10,000 on the GM credit card, you'd get $500 off on a GM car. GM is only the latest big non-financial company that's gotten into the all-purpose credit card business to help its own sales. Last week, General Electric unveiled its card, offering rebates and savings on its own products and those of others. AT&T's Universal Credit Card offers discounts on phone calls. Some consumer advocates say all the advantages of the new cards may encourage consumers to spend too much.
The gimmicks are there to draw your attention away from the cost of the card, so that hopefully you'll sign up for it even if it's not the best deal for you.
And who are the big losers in all this?
The big banks like Citibank, Chase Manhattan, these top 10 issuers who have been clinging to high interest rates of 19.8%.
So the credit card business is changing from a convenient way to buy goods and services to incentives to buy them. Stephen Ogg, ABC News, Washington.
Not everyone's going to need one. More people are going to bed hungry in America. A new report to Congress by the Tufts University Center on Hunger says about 30 million Americans don't get enough food, a 50% increase over the mid-1980s. The report blames increasing poverty and decreasing income. We will have more on the economy and politics later in the broadcast. When we come back, UN soldiers unable to fight back in Sarajevo. In South Florida, a soldier's life on the laundry detail, and an unaccustomed silence on the baseline for tennis star Monica Seles.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, brought to you by Nissan.
To those of you who have a certain image of minivans, Nissan introduces the Quest. It has a V6 engine, so it's more powerful, and front-wheel drive, so it's more nimble and agile than you'd expect a minivan to be. After all, just because you have kids doesn't mean you have to drive a bus. New 7-passenger Nissan Quest. It's time to expect more from a minivan.
I was really downing those tablets. Come on, they're not candy. I started to think there was something really wrong with my stomach. A sigh of relief when my doctor told me to try a new antacid tablet.
Introducing Mylanta tablets, shown to neutralize more stomach acid than the leading tablet.
Unbelievable.
New Mylanta tablets.
My doctor said Mylanta.
In Sarajevo today, a soldier with the United Nations convoy that was attacked yesterday says it was extremely frustrating not being able to fire back. All we could do, he said, was hide. UN officials there said today they are sure that the convoy was the target of the assault, and they say they know who is responsible. Reporting for ABC News in Sarajevo is Tony Bertley.
UN convoys were rolling again today despite yet another incident in which they say they were directly targeted. 2 French peacekeepers were killed and 3 others injured Tuesday when trucks carrying food and supplies for the UN came under heavy machine gun and mortar fire. The Egyptian command of the UN forces said the attack came from irresponsible elements on the Muslim side, only 100 yards from the convoy. A French officer angrily complained that his men are effectively unable to defend themselves. They are entitled to fire in self-defense, but don't for fear of provoking heavy fire from forces with superior weapons. Questions are being raised, however, about why the convoy drove into an area where a battle had been going on for hours. The attack is another sign that nothing seems to be working for the UN in Sarajevo. Despite promises by Serbs to gather their heavy weapons at UN-monitored sites, people were still being killed in the city today as shells continue to rain down. Aid flights for Sarajevo's besieged civilians are still suspended following the shooting down of an Italian plane 6 days ago, and a UN-brokered prisoner exchange scheduled for today failed because the Muslim side didn't turn up. The United Nations situation here has become extremely difficult. The peacekeepers are ambushed and attacked by both sides, who seem to ignore all efforts to make peace. Tony Bertley, ABC News, Sarajevo.
We note a medical landmark tonight. The Pan American Health Organization says not a single case of polio has been reported anywhere in the Western Hemisphere for an entire year. That's the first time that has ever happened. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Colin Powell, was in Florida today to thank the servicemen and women who have been involved in hurricane relief efforts. 28,000 troops have been putting in rather long hours. Here's ABC's Mark Potter.
Sunrise at Tent City. At Homestead's Harris Field, more than 600 Marines are already at work, trying to make life a little easier for 1,000 storm victims.
Hey, guy, you want some apples?
Yeah.
All right. Want some bologna?
Lance Corporal Glenn Hoekstra serves breakfast. In the Gulf War, he was a supply specialist.
We hook up loads to the bellies of helicopters, CH-46s and 53s.
And now you're serving apples?
Now I'm serving apples for the time being.
Lance Corporal Paul Vanek is a combat engineer who now scrubs pots and pans.
People think of Marines as like assaulting beaches and screaming and yelling and things, right? But, you know, wherever they need us, they're going to call us, I guess.
Corporal Joseph Rutland spent the Gulf War clearing anti-tank mines. Now he removes garbage and doesn't really mind.
It's just a little break from the, you know, the actual everyday thing that we was used to doing. And anything's better than fooling minds.
For the most part, the Marines and the refugees get along fine.
They do their job, you know, and they make everybody very comfortable here.
They said that they've lost everything. They come by and tell us that we do a good job and everything, you know. It's really great.
Corporal Nathaniel Lee, a water purification specialist in the Gulf, does the laundry now, and in his spare time entertains the children.
Run around a minute. Yeah, let's come around.
Tell you something, miss.
Duty at Tent City has its rewards. Mark Potter, ABC News, Homestead, Florida.
On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrials gained more than 10 points to close at 32.71, and the trading was moderate. When we come back, the politics of family values.
Something about these two bolognas is the same, and something is very different. Both have the word healthy in the brand names. Both are 97% fat-free, with only 1 gram of fat per slice, but one. Healthy Favorites bologna from Oscar Mayer was the clear winner in a national taste test. Sure, both bolognas say healthy, but when it comes to great taste, we're sure Healthy Favorites will be your favorite.
Healthy Favorites from Oscar Mayer, the taste test winner.
Nice going, Dad.
All cars are made with sheets of metal. But one of these sheets is actually a sandwich of steel, resin, and steel used by Lexus to help quiet the cabin of the LS 400. Care to guess which one?
In recent years, doctors have discovered a flaw in eggs. They're high in cholesterol, and a diet high in cholesterol and fat can contribute to the risk of heart disease. Nutritionists at Fleischmann's have found a way to overcome this flaw with Fleischmann's Egg Beaters, the only one that's 99% real egg with 0 cholesterol and 0 fat. Next time you'd love an egg, crack open a carton. Fleischmann's Egg Beaters, the great tasting egg without a flaw. And try our new, smaller size today.
Now for the political news, first an explanation. We're aware that a lot of you are turned off by the political process and that many of you put at least some of the blame on us for the way we cover political campaigns, or do not cover them. And so for the next couple of months, we're going to try to make better sense of it all in several different ways. We'll keep a campaign watch every day where we'll give you the day's headlines, and we'll only devote more time to a candidate's daily routine if it is more than routine. There'll be less attention to staged appearances and sound bites designed exclusively for television. We will focus our coverage more on how the battle for your vote is being fought, the television campaign, for example, or how a message is being refined, say, for the suburbs. And we will examine very closely how the candidates respond to your concerns and what you've told us are the most important issues. Beginning next week, our American Agenda reporters will lay out just where Mr. Bush and Mr. Clinton actually stand on everything from job creation and health care to the environment and education. So let's get on with it. Governor Clinton concentrated on 2 themes today at a morning speech in Atlanta. He again promised a new approach to welfare, which would require welfare recipients who are able to go to work to work. This afternoon he spoke to black Baptist ministers, including the Reverend Jesse Jackson, saying this election needs to prove that we can have a partnership. President Bush was in 2 very important states today, Pennsylvania and New Jersey. He attacked Governor Clinton on education, saying he's a captive of the teachers' union, and on the environment, saying Arkansas is dead last in environmental initiatives. Our campaign focus tonight is on whether the Republican focus on the so-called family values issue is having the desired result. It was a very big issue, you may recall, at the Republican convention, but since then it has certainly been suggested that maybe the Republicans were being a bit heavy-handed. ABC's Jim Wooten has been to test the waters in normally Republican territory.
The trees are still green, the weather's still warm. But here on the Missouri River and all across the country, the summer of '92 is over. Another season now moves America into all those Friday nights of autumn toward that first Tuesday in November. And not far from St. Louis, Washington, Missouri, a picture-perfect postcard from the mainstream of American politics where Republicans usually win and where you'd think the Bush campaign's focus on family values would be appreciated, but not necessarily.
In a way, it sounded like, you know, if you're not a Republican, you don't have any family values.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen.
For Dick and Kathy Oldenburg, there is no higher value than family, but not as a campaign issue. And even the local Bush Quayle coordinator agrees.
But I wish they would quit that part of it.
Why?
Because it's been overdone. That's what's turning people off.
Over coffee with her neighbors, Kay Womack discovers that even though the economy is much better here than elsewhere, it's still much more important than family values.
I believe that Bush focusing in on this now is not a very important thing to be addressing. You know, the most important thing is definitely the economy and people's jobs and people having money coming in.
When the economy's bad, families aren't together as much. I mean, they're having, financial problems and so forth, which kind of deteriorate our family values. I mean,
the president is having some success here, shifting economic blame to Capitol Hill.
Well, most of the problem, as far as the economy goes, is with the Democratic Congress.
Still, even for those who favor the president, the economy has made him damaged goods.
I'm concerned about if he can do it, because he's been there for so long and he hasn't done it.
We don't have money for taxes, okay.
And with all the debate on family values versus economic failure, there's something else of note in this little town: the absence of real enthusiasm for either candidate. Margaret Lackey finds her options depressing.
Well, it's sad.
And that's the sense here with 55 days to go. They're unsure of Clinton, they're disappointed in Bush. Jim Wooten, ABC News, Washington, Missouri.
Some other notes from the campaign. When he was in Los Angeles yesterday, Dan Quayle surprised a few people. He recorded a promotional message for a television station that is broadcasting reruns of Murphy Brown. Watch.
What is your favorite television program?
Murphy Brown on Channel 5. Not.
From New Hampshire, proof that being for a new tax does not automatically mean defeat. New Hampshire doesn't have an income tax. Deborah Arnson said it needs one to hold down property taxes, and she has won the Democratic nomination for governor. In a moment, why some of the undecided voters we talked to are undecided.
Ace means quality, so look for this name.
I know you're getting the very best.
Right, Dad.
Ace 7-star satin latex wall and trim paint is just $10.97 a gallon, and Ace silicone sealant is only $1.99 a tube.
Ace label product.
Another reason why Ace is the place.
For you.
I love performing, though it's a lot more fun with an audience. I love sweet things, too, like Sun-Sweet pitted prunes. They're so tasty and fat-free. It's love, all right. It's Sun-Sweet.
For almost a century, America's had a love affair with the automobile. Today, the romance shifts into high gear with a revolutionary new financial vehicle that turns buying power into horsepower, plastic into steel. The GM MasterCard. It puts the power of the world's largest corporation in your wallet. It offers all the advantages of MasterCard, but every time you use it, GM will credit 5% of your purchase toward any new Chevrolet, Pontiac, Oldsmobile, Buick, Cadillac, or GMC truck. 5%. That could mean hundreds, even thousands of dollars in savings over and above any other discounts or rebates. And there's no annual fee. So if your heart still hears the call of the open road, the GM card can help you answer that call. The GM card, the new financial vehicle.
Now at Red Lobster.
Well, we've got a new special tonight. It's got everything. Petite lobster and 2 kinds of shrimp for just $10.99.
Start with petite lobster tails, sweet and delicious. Add our savory scampi. Then our famous grilled shrimp to top off a terrific dinner.
It's new.
It's petite lobster and shrimp 2 different ways for a limited time, just $10.99.
It's delicious.
And it's only at Red Lobster.
This is Introduction Night, another feature of our political coverage for the next 8 weeks. This is a place where the people we quote from in the polls will be seen as well as heard. The other night, the people who conduct the ABC News poll gathered together a group of registered Republicans, Democrats, and Independents. This year, at this point, they all told us they were undecided. And it may well be the undecideds who will make the difference in this election. And so we listened to them. What's the most important thing about this campaign?
It has to be the economy.
Irene.
Has to be the economy.
Yes, the economy, definitely.
The economy and regaining the trust of the people.
Beverly.
The economy.
Alyssa Danzig is a banker.
Do we stick with Bush and give him a chance to put the economy back together? Or do we go for change, go for Clinton? Well, nobody seems to know what the issues, what these candidates propose to do about the issues.
Mr. Bush has not given us a guideline, so to speak, to get ourselves out of this recession. Mr. Clinton really hasn't come up with anything either.
Irene Siegel owns a leasing company. So what do you want the president or the presidential candidate to be saying to you now to address this issue of the economy?
Well, I think whoever wants to become our next president should have some sort of a plan to pull us out of this recession, depression, whatever we're in.
Jan Walensky is an executive assistant. Where's the money going to come from?
It'll have to be taxes. We'll have to pay for it.
The way to solve the problems is going to require sacrifice.
Mary Davidson is a college administrator. Kevin Jackson is an operations specialist. Kevin, are you prepared to do that?
Probably not. I mean, no one likes to make sacrifices, especially if it's for someone they don't even know.
Ed?
Well, on taxes now, we were talking about raising taxes to raise money, but I see another end of the spectrum there that there's a lot of waste of the tax money, I think.
Ed Hayes is a security manager. You prepared to have your taxes raised if you can have some control over how the money's spent?
I think if I could see some results of how the money is spent, if it's going to benefit people, then, you know, I mean, we bite the bullet anyway. We're going to get them raised whether we have any control or not.
We wanted to talk about the influence of special interest groups, and this was the one mentioned most often.
Special interest groups, gay and lesbian organizations.
The thing that comes to mind are the gay and lesbians to me.
Now, I am a practicing Catholic, and then when the gay groups, who I might have felt sorry for at the time, walked in and desecrated St. Patrick's Cathedral, I've had no use for them ever since.
John Donovan is a retired auto worker. So do you associate one presidential candidate with the gay and lesbian
definitely.
group? Which one?
Clinton.
Does that make you more inclined towards President Bush on that issue?
No, for the simple reason that I don't consider that a major issue. I don't even think that those things should have been part of the campaign. The issue should be about economics and jobs.
We've got this far and nobody's mentioned family values.
Oh, please.
It shouldn't even be part of the campaign.
Right.
Kevin, when you heard this discussion about family values, what were your impressions?
It was nonsense. It doesn't belong in the questions of politics.
Michael Daflos is an administrative manager. How about character?
I think Clinton did as good a job as he could in diffusing the issue, but there's always the lingering suspicion that in some way he's not a completely honest guy because of the allegations that he cheated on his wife.
But you know something? I think that everybody
It should be irrelevant, but I'm not sure.
Everybody has skeletons in the closet. All of us sitting here, if any one of us went and ran for president, could you imagine what would come out on all of us?
And hopefully towards the end, they will get down to brass tacks and really face the issues, which I think this will happen perhaps this time more quickly than in other times, because I don't think the public will let them get away with name calling. I think we've had that.
We'll check in with those undecided voters again as the campaign continues to see what is making an impression, and we'll talk to others as we take the broadcast around the country. Next week we'll be in the South.
Exercise? This is the only gym I've got time for. My lunch hour's 4 minutes. Sometimes I get constipation. When it happens, I just take this little pill. It's X-Lax.
Only X-Lax pills give you 3 choices: regular or extra gentle when you need a little help, maximum relief when you need a little more. Today's X-Lax, for regular people who sometimes aren't.
With wrinkled brows, the old have singing, deep sorrow, great joy. What does it mean? The touch, the feel, the fabric of our lives, the touch, the feel of cotton, the fabric of our lives.
I want to go see my granddaughter. Thank you, Jesus.
Think about your daydreams, what you would do if you won $1 million out of the blue. Miracles can happen for you. Publishers Clearinghouse, the house where dreams come true.
Tonight on Nightline with Ted Koppel. It is suffering civil war, drought and famine, and critics charge international neglect. Can anything be done to save Somalia? Tonight.
Baseball news today, 2 days after Fay Vincent resigned as a commissioner of Major League Baseball, under pressure from the owners. The owners have chosen a temporary replacement, one of their own. He's Bud Selig, owner of the Milwaukee Brewers. In the former Yugoslav Republic of Montenegro, where they're playing chess for $5 million, Boris Spassky has defeated Bobby Fischer again today. Spassky leads 2-1, first to reach 10 wins. Finally tonight, the sounds of success in tennis. Monica Seles turned in quite a performance at the U.S. Open tournament yesterday. She earned a place in the semifinals by defeating Patricia He, once upon a time a Cambodian refugee, 6-1, 6-2, despite having a stomach virus and a sore throat that effectively silenced Seles. As most tennis fans are aware, it's unusual for Monica Seles not to make herself heard. Here's ABC's Dick Schaap.
When Monica Seles won the French Open this year, her game reached a new level, a new noise level. She was, at 18, one of the greatest players in the history of women's tennis, and the loudest. But it stayed Wimbledon after a couple of opponents complained that Monica's grunts distracted them.
Her argument is she's not doing it on purpose, but she can stop it on purpose.
And the British tabloids turned the complaints into a crusade. The talented teenager was told to tone down. She did, and lost to Steffi Graf in the final. Monica refused to blame her setback on her sudden silence.
I don't worry about it. It doesn't matter if I'm grunting or not.
But it does.
I think it's had a tremendous effect. I don't think she can really win unless she can be Monica, unless she can give you that in your face.
Curiously, male grunts seem to be acceptable in tennis. Female grunts, less so. No one has ever formally protested Jimmy Connor's grunt, or Andre Agassi, or John McEnroe's. Clearly, a double standard is at work. Nick Bollettieri used to coach Seles.
No one said anything about it when she was going through the ranks and coming up. It's sort of ironic that a person would be #1 in the world and then someone would say the grunting's got to stop.
The player's complaint is that, well, I can't hear the ball, you know, if she makes so much noise. The problem players have always had with Monica is that they can't see the ball when she hits it.
So far, Seles has been subdued at the U.S. Open, grunting only gently, winning easily.
I don't want to think about it. I'm not making an effort not to grunt. Maybe next match I'll have a tougher match, maybe, and I might have to grunt.
In other words, if pressed, Monica can always raise her game to a higher decibel. Dick Schaap, ABC News, New York.
That's our report on World News Tonight. I'm Peter Jennings. Have a good evening. Good night.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
Tonight, I've got 500 watts running through this bad boy.
Oh, that's wonderful, Tim. Turn it down.
Stuck.
Home Improvement, now on Wednesday. Then it's the big one.
Talking about a breast reduction.
Great, huh?
They were supposed to make them smaller!
Roseanne and a special night tonight. This is bad.
Mako's Ambassador Paint Service is priced right. We chemically scrub and prepare your car's old surface and give it a high-grade finish. Now only $199 at Mako.
Grayson, I can't explain it. You're kind of in a limbo zone. Time's different, speed's different.